If your goal was to cripple the American economy and destroy the world all over again, I can think of no better place to do it than right here in Las Vegas, Nevada. When I started investigating this story that broke on February 1st, when nobody was paying attention, I never thought it would lead back to the Chinese Communist Party and to a man who came into the country from Canada under asylum status, only to result in it having ramifications that a few miles away from the Strip could have changed everything forever had they not found it. Stephen J. Campbell here, the Vegas truth teller. I'm the only guy online that I know on YouTube that can't be bought by the casino companies. I'll tell you about that in a minute. We have to look at this story, which broke here locally in Vegas on Saturday. Nobody's talking about it. It's being covered up. Let's get right into it. So let's walk you through a timeline of this incredibly strange case, which I'll reveal had some serious consequences. Some of the most infectious agents known to humans were in apparently this house, or at least they haven't really told us if that's the truth yet. We don't know. But they did find all of these vials labeled this way, just a few miles from Las Vegas Boulevard, just a few miles from the Strip where people vacation. Contagious things, things that go out of the city and cause another pandemic scenario. Things started off relatively benign. We have a report right here about people are tied to a corporation that owns a Northeast Las Vegas house where law enforcement is investigating a possible biological laboratory. And they were also facing federal charges for distributing medical test kits without regular approval in California. No problem, right? FBI, though, they're involved. Why are they doing a search if it's just nothing more than some medical test kits? And as we get into the article and we read a little bit more, this benign headline up here, possible biological laboratory, starts to sound absolutely staggeringly terrifying. Let's take a look. So it says that the Metropolitan Police Department, SWAT officers, and the FBI Las Vegas branch had a search warrant on a home in North Hollywood Boulevard and East Washington Avenue before 6 a.m. on Saturday morning. The Southern Nevada Health District is there. Everybody's there. We even had the Nevada National Guard's 92nd Weapons of Mass Destruction Civil Support Team there. This was not a benign case of something tiny. This was like, what do they really have? But you have to read deeper. And said Sheriff McCahill, quote, "There are a lot of questions that need to be answered. There's a lot of work ahead of us." But then you see right here where it says McCahill said investigators found evidence of possible biological material, including refrigerators with vials containing unknown liquids inside the home. They didn't elaborate on what they found. That's because they did not want to panic the public. I'm going to reveal what they found. We're going to go broad with this because this doesn't just stay in Vegas. This actually links and goes all the way to China, to this CCP, like the official party in charge in China. This goes really deep. I'm going to tell you what they found labeled on those vials, and it's going to blow your mind in a minute, because before I do that, gotta pay the bills. We're going to talk about our sponsor, which is always me, myself, and I. What if I told you that when all this craziness on the chart behind me, see that giant spike down was happening this morning, you could be also benefiting from that? You could potentially make hundreds, if not thousands of dollars when the rest of the world burned down. Yeah, it's called trading the futures market, and I want to fast track you, which is why I created my course, 1K a day. It's super simple. Anybody can do this stuff. I teach my students and my traders how to just look for patterns every day, how to go short. Here's me going short. You can see it in the video right today. Made like $300 in just a few seconds. And I don't see why you can't do the same thing. Look, one of my students today sent me this, made close to $500 for the day in about 6 minutes. Most of my traders done 15, 20 minutes. You can make money when it goes up or down. It doesn't really matter. You just got to learn the basics, and it's basic stuff. So if you like that idea, it sounds great, could be life-changing, who knows. I want you to do yourself a favor. Just click on the first pinned comment. I want you to type in the code BW5. It doesn't stand for biological warfare. What it stands is for Big Win 5. I would love to see you guys get some kind of big wins in the futures market. And when you do, send me an email. I want to celebrate that with you. So do it before I raise the price. It's $199. You get the whole course. One time, lifetime. That's all you ever paid. No upsells, no crazy stuff like that. I'm raising the price because, like, when I got people making $3 grand, like this student up here texted me yesterday, I know it's worth it to you. Is it worth it to you? I don't know. You tell me in the comments below. And with that, we got to talk about what they actually found, because this is just, it's gross what they found. I wouldn't want to be 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 miles of any of these things that they found. And there's proof it made people sick. So there's way more to this story. Check this out. So here's some more of the cover-up. I love busting the cover-ups, because as this story unfolded, we saw exactly what they knew and what they told us. Same article. First article of the day. In a news release Saturday, Metro officers said investigators at the scene would be wearing protective gear, quote, in case any hazardous materials were found inside the home. In case? They knew what they had when they opened the doors. Because this right here is where this gets terrifying. Frankly, like, I'm a germaphobe. I have a bit of health anxiety. And if I knew this was in my neighborhood, I would be finding a new neighborhood. FBI serves new search warrant. This is the follow-up now from the day later. FBI serves a new search warrant on California biological lab tied to Las Vegas raid. Well, look at the photos. This says that it's basically SARS-CoV-2. This is what shut down the world. Who knows what variant this might be? And the question nobody's asking right now is why this even exists in Vegas. And if we don't even know at this point that this has already happened in California. I'll tell you about that in a minute. That's what will make your blood boil. I'm going to say it like an Irish person. Oh, that makes my blood boil. I'm part Irish. Don't criticize, don't hate, and I love you, Ireland. And if you're still here, tell me where you're from. Do I have any Irish people in the chats? I read all your comments. I respond to a bunch of them. Leave me a comment below. So the discovery of a biological lab in the Las Vegas neighborhood Saturday morning has prompted federal investigation tied to a similar lab in California. Now we're getting somewhere, right? But here's the crazy part right here. Property records identified the current owner of the home, and this is where we get to like CCP, conspiracy theory, put on your tinfoil hats, throw your electronics in the microwave, because, wow, it's known as a person named, I'm going to say this wrong, so all my Chinese American friends, I love you, Zhaibi Zhu, who also uses the name of David He, because whiteys like me can't pronounce Zhaibi Zhu. My wife asked me to pronounce that twice. It was so cute. She just loves to hear me hack it. He is currently the federal custody due to connections to another biological lab discovered in Reedley, California, at a home he also owns. On Sunday, the FBI executed a new search warrant at his home. His first lab was discovered in 2022 by a code enforcement officer. Discovered thousands of vials in Reedley, California. Also biological substances and mice. According to a report from the Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party, yeah, that's a thing. It's right here. Here's the entire report. You can go all the way through it and see what happened in Reedley, California. What they found in that case was HIV, tuberculosis, malaria, hepatitis, and Ebola. Now, what happened to these guys? How did they do this in Reedley, California? And they're foreign nationals, right? Oh, it gets just car crash worse. Additionally, investigators say the mice in Reedley were genetically modified to simulate human immune systems. Oh, well, that's good. I mean, at least they'll know what these things would hit us as, I suppose. Workers helping local law enforcement became sick after attending to the infected mice. My goodness. But see, that's the thing. There was something in the house in Vegas. I know it sounds like a horror movie, right? Like the call is coming from inside the house. You'll see that in a minute. Like there was something in this house that made people very, very sick. In 2023, a federal grand jury indicted these folks from China, but they also added charges for conspiracy in 2024. And what's really, really, really troubling for me is that the records show, as it states here, that he owns multiple businesses, of one of which, called Prestige Biotech Incorporated, was given a Nevada license. Now, I've had real estate licenses in the state of Nevada. They do background checks on people. Something was completely missed here, because why would the state of Nevada, where I live, where 40 million people a year come to visit, not vet the businesses coming into town? Ask yourself that important question. State of Nevada, listen, my email's in the description box. Let me know what your process is. Oh, Canadian connection. Right now, there's a whole bunch of people that are on the right side of politics that are like, Trump was right. Well, apparently, came in through Canada. He was arrested in 2023 during an investigation. According to the police, he was a fugitive from Canada. So it turns out that in 2021, after he was indicted federally in Canada and became a fugitive, he just fled to the United States, changed his name, used fake documents, claimed asylum, and then fell under the radar. And so far, here's what we know. It's a Chinese Communist Party enterprise. I'm taking a look at the chart on the screen right now. It's actually linked back to one company called AID Diagnostics in China. See, I told you guys AI is coming for you one way or the other. Bad joke, I know, but I'm a little kind of freaked out talking about this. And so I will preface this. Everything I say is allegedly. It's just a bunch of theories based on research that I did. But AI Diagnostics seems to give $850,000 funding to a man who is now in prison. His name is Jia Baiju, also known as David He. What's interesting is that he starts calling the property manager Mr. Ori Solomon. Ori Solomon is this gentleman listed in this photo right here. He owns the property that they have recently raided. Now, in 2023, when David He was actually arrested, his significant other, a lady named Ms. Wang, fled to China, monitoring everything in Vegas via security cameras at the home owned by Ori Solomon. On the other side of this team, you have this person named Zhao Qun Yao. This is a Chinese coordinator that had to stay in China because they were banned from entering the United States. It turns out they owned 37 Airbnb properties. And I certainly hope they were all looked at, because who knows what they had stored in those properties as well. And if you're smart, like I think you are, you're also asking, how did this guy on the screen manage to get calls to manage these properties? Well, that's because this guy right here, David He, we're just going to use that name because it's easier for my whitey boy mouth to speak. He made over 6,945 calls from prison, and 467 of those were to the property manager here in Vegas. And right now, there are allegedly 20 properties under active investigation that are all Airbnb rentals. Makes you got to think about the next time you want to rent a house when you're on vacation, doesn't it? One of the wildest aspects and the questions we have to ask is, did they have anything dangerous in that house? And so far, investigators are very mum on this. Whenever we hear from Sheriff McCahill, pictured here, we hear that it's an ongoing active investigation. But what we do know definitely points to things that nobody wants to have within a 1,000,000-mile radius near them being involved in this property that they just found. Again, just several miles from the Las Vegas Strip. See, because the latest update we have from the Review Journal, who's been covering this extensively, reads, exposure to property linked to Las Vegas BIOLAB probe has left 2 deathly ill. And this is really our evidence that there is something very bad in this house, and we need clear transparency. But as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, it's not unusual for bad people to come to Vegas. They want to blend in. We have 2 cases I will demonstrate here to prove my point. One of them is so famous that everybody in the world knows about it, and the other one a little less famous, but still quite controversial if you were around the Southwest back in the day. This is Warren Jeffs, a fundamentalist LDS leader. If you don't know what that is, basically they're people that want the Mormon Church to be like the Mormon Church was nearly 200 years ago. We're talking federal charges, things like polygamy, evading taxes. The Mormons were building an army back in the day. He was actually just captured just outside of Las Vegas because they all come through Vegas before they get caught. The other people weren't caught, but unfortunately took many lives. That was the 9/11 hijackers. Yeah, the local officials recount an investigation because after they became infamous for one of the most horrible acts against humanity of any time in history, the leaders came to Vegas, went to strip clubs, partied at the old Olympic Garden topless cabaret because they knew what they were going up against, and they decided to break all of their rules of their religion, I suppose. And this just goes to show you that Vegas is a big place. It's more than just 5 miles of Las Vegas Boulevard and about a mile of Fremont Street downtown. It's a big place where sometimes bad people can come and hide out. My recommendation to everybody, and I learned this at church, was to just go learn who the people are in your neighborhood. Go knock on their door, even if you've lived there for years. Make that connection. And in a city like Vegas, it's especially more important. Super hot in the summertime, nobody goes out of their house. And when they do, they're doing what they always do, which is staring into their phones, their one on one personal relationship with digital fake people where they could be learning about the people right around them. And if you're just browsing through to this video and you're even 1% smarter or learned something new, I think you owe it to yourself and to me maybe for the effort to just give us a subscription. Click the like button, click that comment button. Tell me where you're from. I watch all of your comments and I'll maybe respond to you. Once again, I'm Stephen J. Campbell. I do videos 5 days a week. If you want another video, I'm going to let YouTube decide what they think you want to watch. I have thousands of them. There's a little box up here by my head. Click it. You're going to like it. YouTube knows you better than your spouse. It's kind of scary in a way. Until we meet the next time, as I always say, what my mentor teaches me, just keep swimming.